Hello and welcome back to my writing journey. I'm Ellen Byerrum, a mystery writer, and I haven't been doing a lot of long-form videos lately. But today I thought I'd read the first chapter of my latest book for you, These Crooked Things. To set the scene, it's November 1934 in New York City. Prohibition is over, but the Depression lingers like a bad hangover. Famous gangsters fight for headlines with local criminals, and a bloody crime has just occurred on the Upper East Side. Private Detective Graydon Chase and his fiancée, playwright Esme are called in to keep scandal at bay and sweet-talk the Irish cops. We'll begin with glasses and Chapter 1. I'd seen dead things before, but I'd never seen anything as dead as Duncan Balmain, stretched out on the expensive Persian carpet in his lavish Upper East Side apartment. Once the antic party boy, known for his irrepressible pranks and handsome face, Duncan was now a lifeless shell in a tuxedo and white shirt, his perpetual tan fading to ashes. He lay on his back, jacket open, revealing a bullet hole in his chest, his hands up, eyes half closed. There was minimal blood on the front of his shirt, but much more had seeped through his back onto the expensive rug. Although his position suggested he had been surprised, there was no expression on his face. Whatever he had been thinking, he took to his grave. Many would say Duncan got what he deserved. Others might withhold judgment. But Duncan's reputation came with a lot of baggage, a rich boy who bought his way out of troubles, but not this time. The scene was disturbed by overturned lamps, a coffee table on its side, a smashed mirror, and a court sprinkled with shards of glass. Graydon and I had arrived a few minutes before at Duncan's swanky uptown apartment. Needless to say, we never expected to see the owner laid out on the floor, drunk perhaps by reputation, but not lifeless. We were dressed for the party we had just left, not a death scene. Graydon was in his top hat and tails, looking insanely suave, but quite somber. My sky blue silk gown featured plenty of sparkles and sequins that clung to my figure. The dress was not quite suitable to the November chill, but it was the style, and every woman at our gala had worn even skimpier dresses. A butler opened the apartment door to us, led us into the generous foyer, and collected our overcoats without looking directly at us. I patted my hair in a mirror over a marble console bearing a handsome marble bowl where someone had left a ring of silver and brass keys, one of which was a bent skeleton key that I doubted would open anything. Attached to the ring was a round medallion with initials in a fancy script, D.B. The butler returned and ushered us into the living room without a word. There was a sharp smell of gunpowder and iron, or blood, in the air. The surroundings were handsome and modern in the Art Deco style, monochromatic and soothing shades of green, but the pictures on the wall were slanted as if caught in the fracas. We hadn't been informed that this investigation involved death. I gasped and held my breath, but I did not scream. "Have the police been called?" Graydon asked. "No, sir, Mr. Chaseborn, only you. I am awaiting instructions from Mr. Balmain, Sr." The man who opened the door brought a sheet to cover the body, but Graydon gestured that he shouldn't touch anything, and we stepped around bloodstains on the floor. There was a spotted trail of dark red from the room where the victim lay to another room down the hall. Whatever had happened before, what scene of mayhem, Duncan Balmain now appeared undisturbed. "Were there any other staff at home?" Graydon asked. "No, sir. The cook and the housekeeper have left. I'm the only one who lives here with the Balmains." The butler was middle-aged, with thinning hair, unremarkable save for his English accent. Not the same accent as Graydon's. Perhaps a little less posh. A tearful older man with a scotch in one hand and an unlit cigar in the other stumbled in from a handsome book-lined library. It was as if he were following the crimson stream. His eyes were bloodshot, his hair was wild, and his hands were shaking. The butler lingered in the background, as silent as the bronze statues that flanked the mantel. "Esme? Esme, are you all right?" I felt Graydon's hand on my shoulder. My fingers reached for his. "Elf?" Graydon liked to call me Elf, and I knew he thought I looked like one. My face was heart-shaped and my eyes were blue-green, slightly slanted up. However, my ears were not and never have been pointed. I knew my fiancé was not happy about my presence. We were new at this being engaged business, and I had talked him into taking me along on this sudden call away from the gala. "Thank you for bringing me with you." I gazed up at him and he relented, his eyes crinkling with his own smile. "I know you didn't want me here. I still don't. Even more now." Nevertheless, he took my hand and gently squeezed my fingers. Graydon Chase was many things, among them some kind of private investigator, or as he preferred, an inquiry agent into all things financial, and now criminal. He told me earlier, when we were interrupted at the gala, that answering the senior Balmain's call would no doubt be long and tedious, involving boring paperwork and missing money. Now that we'd stumbled, figuratively, onto a corpse, that would require far more than paperwork. It would require police. I could leave. Who was I kidding? I wasn't leaving. I wanted to know what happened. Sadly, not until the police come. "Who said anything about police?" bellowed the angry old man who lingered in the hallway. He was the dead man's father, Edward Balmain. "No police, Chaseborn. I've heard about your work and your discretion, and I didn't know who else to call." He gulped more scotch. The fact that he used Chaseborn instead of Graydon's business moniker of Chase told me Balmain came from the upper echelon of society and knew Graydon from those rarefied circles. "The police must be called," Graydon said. "If you won't call them, I will." I bit my lip to keep from shouting, "What the hell is wrong with you, you old fool? Call the police." The man seemed to notice me for the first time. "Who is she, and why is she here?" "My associate, Miss Esme de la Forêt. She can be trusted." I'm not sure Graydon believed that, but it was nice of him to say so. He refrained from saying I come from a part of society the upper class hated. I'd been a reporter and was now a playwright who had achieved some notoriety. It was a time when many people still believed a decent woman should only be named in the paper at birth, death, or marriage. "Esme, allow me to present Mr. Edward Balmain." I recognized old Moneybags, as the newspapers sometimes called him. Edward Balmain was the president and owner of Balmain Construction, which supplied labor for some of New York City's biggest projects. His hardened look and calloused hands testified that he'd once spent time pounding nails and lifting loads of timber himself before ascending to his current position. He also owned a bank, whether for prestige or convenience I didn't know. By reputation, he was a hard, cold businessman, willing to throw women and children out on the streets or onto the railroad tracks, as the melodramas would have it. He famously claimed unions caused the Depression, and his company had been fighting them tooth and nail. His son, the late Duncan, on the other hand, looked overly refined in a prep school way. I hadn't seen Duncan alive, merely in news photos with a supercilious smile that even in print made you want to slap him. And now there he was on the floor, lying in his own blood, minus the smile. "My son," Balmain's voice broke. "My dead son, Duncan. That she-devil destroyed him." "Are you referring to your daughter-in-law, Mora Balmain?" I had seen the names of all the Balmains in the society pages while seeking information on Rupert Chaseborn, a.k.a. Graydon Chase, my fiancé. When I saw the younger Balmain's names, Duncan and Mora, they were inevitably described as one of the it couples. However, the subtext of the news stories revealed that despite being married, Duncan Balmain was a notorious drunkard and skirt chaser. His father was a respected, if cement-hearted, businessman, but all Duncan had managed to do was fail upward through a series of jobs. I learned less about the beautiful Mora. She seemed to fill her time with charity work involving children, but she came from a less desirable class of people, which probably meant hard-working, less educated, and most likely Irish. "She killed him in cold blood," Balmain blurted. "She did?" That was a shock. "Where's the gun?" Graydon asked him. "She must have it with her." "Where is she?" I asked. "Her bedroom. Locked herself in." He gestured toward the hallway and the bloodstains with his glass of scotch. "She's going to prison. I'll see to it. Put her in that chair. I will." "I want to see her," I said. She won't talk to you. She wouldn't talk to me. It's worth a try. Graydon raised his eyebrow. Subtly, Esme, and do stay out of the line of fire. That witch just married him for his money. My money, Edward Balmain shouted at Graydon, while I gingerly stepped over the trail of blood to where the witch was supposed to be hiding. I knocked on the witch's door. That's all for now. I'm Ellen Byerrum, a mystery writer. I'll see you next time. Bye.